Greeting interwebs, it's Checking K. Welcome for another Game and Chill. Sorry for the wait. It's just been real hard to actually get myself to feel like commentating in general lately. So that's probably the main reason why I haven't streamed the past month at all, and the main reason this Game Chill has been late. It's not just because of my moves, there's a combination of things like events I wanted to watch over the weekend instead, but let's just get it done now. Gameplay wise, it's gonna be a pretty straightforward Game Chill. Basically doing mass outbreaks, trying to find shinies, and maybe fill out my field research along the way. Especially because there's going to be a lot to talk about. I'm not sure if I actually got everything out cleanly, so point being, video-wise, the YouTube schedule is not going to be that different from usual, just I'm not promising any streams at the moment. I was going to start the next playthrough series stream, but then TRG Coliseum happened over the weekend and I wanted to watch that. The following weekend, and then there's just pretty much every other week that I didn't really feel up to streaming in general. And I'm not even sure if I want to do that game series anymore. At least that's a stream series. So there's a lot behind the scenes that I still have to... Wouldn't mind trying to shiny hunt for either outline, so that's a good look out for. And none of these others are really striking out as Pokemon I need for research and all that. Like Geodude's already completed. So let's route something accordingly. Again, I'm still feeling a little tired. Probably because I haven't had any Mountain Dew today. I usually have one can of a caffeinated drink. Oh, that's not the Pokemon. I usually have like one caffeinated drink a day. Unfortunately, like a lot of times, it's averages more to 2 cans of Mountain Dew a day. But I haven't really thought about having a drink yet. Just with the way I've been feeling today, it's just been feeling a little off in general. So I just figured I wouldn't complain and just ride the caffeine-free train as long as I can. I'll probably pick up something after I did this recording, but there's no point really doing it now, since I wouldn't really even have a good opportunity to drink it while I'm playing. So I might as well keep the can of Mountain Dew and all that cold for when I'm all done. Rowlet's all maxed out. Oh, not even close actually. Oops. Well, while I'm here, I might as well catch them, I guess. Has there even been a single shiny that I've caught in this game that I already had to research completed in advance? It really doesn't feel like it, even though that's supposed to increase the odds and all that. Bye. I'm saying, yeah. I mean, all things considered, all things considered of how I should have more caffeine or more sleep, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, it's kind of was like just a weird long day where it took me a long time to really get going. I think like for the first time, I actually opened 2 packs of cards in a single day instead of spreading it out, because I like had packs from before. And there's definitely more I could talk about that. But I feel like there's other things I should go over first. Let's see here. You know, most of the grind is just using it in battle. I forgot to bring a water type with me, but the Silgio should at least have water pulse. I mean, just realized this is probably gonna go ugly, but there's no other reason for me to be here, so why not try? Yeah, I'm over leveled, they have super effective moves. That's about as well as I thought it would go, to be frank. Oh, like, where do I even start? Just so much, been so long since the last Game Show. It's kind of hard to remember what I've talked about, what I haven't. I know I said in the last vlog that I was gonna at least talk a little bit about watching the TRG Calcium stream, so I suppose I could at least start with that. Overall, it was fun, and I think that's the biggest takeaway I can take from all of it. Wow, maybe I should rewatch it because it's just been so long that a lot of things are just... The memories are already passing by so fast in my head, and I just can't remember it all. The big thing that just still sticks in my mind was the finale was fantastic. It's the best is that like the best finale that I've ever seen from that particular charity event. So you really got to just watch all. You appreciate a lot more after you watch all the other segments, because it just seems like everything unintentionally all came together at the end. Like, there's little bits here and here, like running jokes that came up on other segments of the stream that just re-showed up their face for this one. It kind of just led to a fun time overall. Well, because of that. Like, it's kind of nuts when when they were playing a custom Mario Party board, and that wasn't even the highlight, despite the fact that the board was made to be as crazy as possible. That wasn't even close to how crazy the event was, just because everything else going on was just that insane. Probably the best way that I can think of to describe it. I'm kind of getting confused why I'm getting 2 research marked off, because if I had to finish them off with water types, then that's definitely not the move that I have in the back pocket here. I guess I could say the bumpers that they did in between segments was pretty great too. I guess one thing I could mention is with the Pokemon event, as I kind of expected, they went over with Scarlet and Violet being the newest Pokemon games around. They brought back the Pokemon Battle Bingo, but it was of that instead of Legends Arceus, which honestly makes me kind of sad, because I definitely still prefer this game over Legends Arceus. And the event itself was fine. There's plenty of chaos in the mix despite everything. But I personally felt like the Battle Bingo worked slightly better. Maybe I'm biased, but I felt like the Battle Bingo would have been more fun in Legends Arceus, despite it being a newer game and all that. Again, probably just a little biased. And since I'm struggling to even remember details about TRG Calcium to talk about anyways, I didn't want to get too negative, but I kind of want to talk a little... I guess I'll talk a little bit about Scarlet and Violet. If only to bring up why I'm still doing Game Chill on this instead of those particular Pokemon games. Especially because that's the easier question. This game kind of just fits the vibe of Game Chill a bit better than Scarlet and Violet. There's a lot more ambience, and the music is more laid back, so it just feels more relaxing to play around with. Meanwhile, in Scarlet and Violet, you got the main theme of blaring in your ears when you're just trying to navigate the overworld. And I do think that Scarlet and Violet is at least better than Sword and Shield. Like, the only reason I even played Sword and Shield as much as I did was specifically because of Dynamax Adventure. I said I was to say it again, I've never actually even beaten the Pokemon League. Like, I got up to, like, the final badge and just, like, screw it. I think around that point I saw, like, the post game for Sword and Shield. I'm like, Ew, that Pulse game is awful. I'd rather just never be canon than I ever become the Pokemon champion in Galar. I didn't buy Sword and Shield until the Crown Tundra update even came out. And even then, like, I've never finished any of the DLC of Sword and Shield. I've literally just bought it for Dynamax Adventure, and I only got both because they were kind of... The DLC in the game had this bundle that made it as cheap as either the base game or the base game with one DLC. So there was like literally no point in not just getting both, because it would have been the same price to get everything that it would be to get the base game and the DLC. What was I talking about? Just ragging on Pokemon. It's tough being a Pokemon fan. I don't want to be negative about it, because there's enough people online to do that. But it's hard to talk about them at all without getting into that. If it's any assurance, I don't think I've had a game make me feel a way that Scarlet and Violet has since Golden Sun Dark Dawn. And with Dark Dawn, I would actually consider it a good game. It kind of fluctuates based on how I feel, but I think most games I would say that I like Dark Dawn. Despite it kind of being... it's definitely the black sheep of the Golden Sun series, and definitely... and I definitely feel like my opinion's kind of rare. And even with the even when I look at Dark Dawn with a positive eyes, my bad. Or rose tinted glasses. It just still holds true. The overall experience of Dark Dawn is something I enjoy, but oh boy, do the things I don't like about Dark Dawn, I really don't like about Dark Dawn. And I feel like it's even more true with Scarlet and Violet. Like with Dark Dawn, it's just like, I say it's good, but that's because Golden Sun is good, and the overall path, at its core, is framework. It's skeleton. Dark Dawn is just another Golden Sun game. From a battle mechanic standpoint, it plays just as well, if not better, than Dark Dawn. Almost a little too... it plays almost a little too similarly to Golden Sun games, if I gotta be perfectly frank. They definitely had room to experimentation, but I'd rather have something that's way too similar, if it's something I already really like, than for them to try something completely different and result in just something that's result in a less enjoyable experience overall. Take the Paper Mario series, for example. Yeah, this is just gonna be the... I'm sorry. I can already tell this is gonna be the day that I just dunked on all of the video games. At the point, I guess the point I was trying to get at before is that with Scarlet and Violet, or I mean with Dark Dawn, but compared to Scarlet and Violet, the highs of Pokemon Scarlet were way higher than the highs of Dark Dawn. Like, when the game is good, it's fantastic. But when the game is bad, it's the worst experience I've ever had with Pokemon. And that's what makes it hurt so much more. And I guess, like, so many people were just quick to say, they're good games, they just were rushed and not developed well. I do think that the games are flawed, even if we were to take out every single bug and glitch and frame rate issue that Scarlet and Violet have, I don't think I would like them that much more than I already do. It'd probably be more constructive for me to just do a write-up and maybe just like do a review, especially now that I completed the game. But if I was gonna do more long formatted serious stuff, there's so many other things that I would want to do first. I guess I could... Sorry. Ironically, I thought of a good segue. Paused myself to make sure I finished all my thoughts before I did so, and then just... afterwards. Yeah, screw it. I don't feel like I'm really getting anywhere with the whole Violet and Scarlet rant. Like, something that, like, I don't think I like, but I wish I liked more. That being said, there's a lot that I can do because I was so fixated on finishing up Sweet Training. And there's like one or two things I wanted to add to it, but I kind of just gave up on it. And so now that I'm done with Sweet Training, I decided to just take a break from the whole modding, from working on Paper Mario to just do other things casually. Like, sure, I've been dabbling in Dawn of Jin a bit, so it's not like I've taken a break from modding completely. But I've also opened up some more time to do other things, like, that's kind of what, that's why the whole thing about I should just write a review and organize my thoughts in a more meaningful way, but I've already got other things I want to do. One thing that I kind of was like doing on and off before I really got into working on Sweet Expedition and similar things was I had a little write-up of Golden Sun's Dark Dawn. It's kind of weird how everything's tying back together. But yeah, like I was trying to, like a long time ago, I was not necessarily to do anything with it, but just to practice. It's more just like practice of my writing and game design skills. I did a little write-up of how to rewrite the story of Golden Sun Dark Dawn in a way that I don't know if in a way that I at least would enjoy the story better. Maybe one or two other people would as well. It kind of involved a little more than that, because like last time I was messing around with it, I even got the idea of like a couple new classes for certain party members to have, and I haven't really got myself in the mindset to actually write anything new to that, but I have, like, over the past couple of days, gotten myself to mess around with some of the classes, like, basically all of the default. Ooh, that hurt a bit more than I was expecting. Like, instead of just like one party member that I had a different idea for, kind of coming up with ideas for all the party members to have different classes and different spells and that from the base game to make things a little bit more interesting. That's what I was doing lately. I am kind of hoping to just get back into finishing up that write-up soon. Or at least, like, review it and see if it's far enough along to share the draft that I have so far of it. It's kind of hard to really get into without spoiling anything. So I think it's also important to note that it's probably been a good solid few years. Maybe years is a bit exaggerated, but it certainly feels like years, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was close to at least 8 years since I last started seriously working on it, but it would be nice to actually review that and get back into the swing of things. How long have I been recording anyways? About half an hour. Sorry. And there's definitely like a lot I could organize about, a lot to talk about, but I'm just all disorganized and all over the place today. And so instead of actually talking about all the good stuff that's happened that I want to talk about, I just end up complaining about Scarlet and Violet instead. Sorry about that. Yeah, I wouldn't... Like, I'm a little conflicted of what I want to share, but I would like to share the Golden Sun reboot idea eventually. I just have to finish it first, and man, if it took so long for me to get back into it, I don't know when that'll ever become a thing. I guess while I'm on the tangent of Golden Sun, I can at least talk a little bit about the stuff I have been doing with Dawn of Jin version 2. Big part of it is, like, I've been messing around with NPCs and NPC dialogue. as I'm slowly re-adding all the bosses and just refining them to like fit the new moves that this version has over version 2, over some, along with other things. It'd probably be easier to explain in a weekly blog. Oh, that reminds me, I have not even started this weekly blog. I'm just kind of out of it. You think like having that extra time off would help out a lot, but just doesn't help that I spent the majority of that long weekend watching the Coliseum. So like, and then I guess I was just like a little tired. Then there's just like something, can't quite recall what, but something that was kind of making it hard for me to get back into the routine of things. So yeah, trying to get a little bit back into what I was talking about. Things with version 2 are going along slowly, but great. I honestly thought it would just take a couple days to like re-add all the bosses, and at that point I'd be caught up to the Mercury Lighthouse, and maybe I could just do a little casual playthrough on my own time to experience the second mix / version 2 up to that point, to playtest it in a casual, fun way. But then everything ended up taking... But I've only just really finished messing around with Bilibin and maybe the first Fightable Djinn. So all that's going a lot longer than I thought it would. So we'll have to see how I feel. I was thinking of maybe if I like how that little bit looked, maybe I could arrange it in a way to be a demo. Not like something I would share too publicly, maybe just like post a link to it on my Discord, but I don't even know if I want to do that yet. I might end up just having it just be something I do on my own time. And I guess I gotta figure out when I want to go back to Sweet Expedition. Honestly, after spending all that time in Sweet Training, it's kind of hard to go back to actually Sweet Expedition proper, because like, it's a lot more fun to make battles in that than it was to actually work on new maps, and like everything is done, it's just a matter of if they're making it visually look good, and I just don't really got good tools. Like, because my computer's old, I can't really mess around the map editor, so I just don't feel like anything I would add to the maps in Sweet Expedition would be that interesting. It just looked like maps from the vanilla game with colors that may or may not be ugly. So I think that's like a big reason why I still don't feel ready to go back into working on Sweet Expedition proper. That and Dawn of Djinn really got put on the back burner while I was working on Sweet Training. Everything else I said before was an excuse. The more realistic reason for why I still want to take a bit of a break from Sweet Expedition is specifically because I felt bad, because I really wanted to work more on Dawn of Djinn, as well as my own projects. I won't say that like the reasons I would prefer to work on Dawn of Djinn over Sweet Expedition weren't tied to anything that I previously mentioned, though. And I'm sure like once I take a long enough break from it, I'll be itching to get back to it eventually. There's just a few other things I need to get back in the swing of first, like streaming. And like this whole Gaming Chill existing because of so much of the struggle to get back in the commentary. Like, I don't think I'm quite warm up enough to really, like... I feel like I've been all over the place, but I think I've at least talked enough to go, yeah, I can jump into, like, a recording session of Pokemon XG. Oh god, this thing still wants me dead. Hi, I see you there. Oh yeah, it's been... I'll talk more about that later. Let's make sure that this guy doesn't, like, completely obliterate me. If only I had a ghost type move, though. Because I still have to defeat a few in general. But yeah, you may notice a new shiny in that deck screen. I think it'd be nice to just end off the episode talking a bit more about that. I guess because the only major thing I really wanted to talk about was TRG Coliseum, and TRG Coliseum was fun. It kind of made the long weekend worthwhile. It's just a shame that my memory sucks so bad. Apparently sucks so bad I can't really remember enough to really talk about it. Has it already been a week since TRG Coliseum? Yeah, I guess it was last weekend, so... yeah. It doesn't feel like it's been a week ago. It feels like it's been longer than that, to be perfectly frank. But I guess a week and 1 week shouldn't be enough to, like, blink out on it so much. I guess it's just because there's, like, so much else going on. Like, there's a bunch of other streams in that popped up. That popped up right this weekend, too. But I just, like, no. As much as I want to watch that other stuff, it's been too long since I record Game & Shot. It's been too long since I stream. I gotta get back into the swing of that stuff eventually. And I get... kind of, like, need something like this to remind myself why do commentaries and streams in the first place. I'll admit there's a little bit of a time frame where I'm just like, do I really want to stream though? Just the concept of talking with other people is so intimidating. With something like this, like, at least it's under my control. If I, like, feel like I blabble on about something for too long and understanding, I can at least cut it out. I don't have to worry about the unpredictability of other people coming in and stuff like that. And, like, you never know who's going to show up at a stream, and you never know what it's going to say, but that's not necessarily the people themselves as much as just my personal nature of just wanting to be prepared for everything possible in advance. And kind of what kills things socially. Well, besides society. But that's something I'd rather not get into. I talked about Scarlet and Violet, right? Unfortunately. I don't take anything I said there too seriously. I feel like I would really need to sit down, write, and organize my thoughts to truly express how I feel about the games. I think it is safe to say that it is a pretty mixed bag for me. A lot of good buried away in a lot of bad. Saying any more than that, I might end up regretting when I edit this. It's tough to be a Pokemon fan, though. Anything else? Oh yeah, Pokemon cards. I'm still working my way through the big Pokemon Go box that I got a while back. Though I have picked up a few other packs along the way, and I think I'm kind of like... yeah, I haven't even talked about the little book I got. But it's kind of like at a point where I got a little book specifically for the cards in my modern collection, and I feel like I've almost already filled up that little book. I knew I should have just gotten a big one in the first place, but that's kind of been like a nice pick-me-up and relaxing. I can't figure out what it is that I've been enjoying about just collecting the cards and opening them up and seeing what I get. Because again, it did start out as just something that, like, a little petty thing for, so that family and friends can, like, get something from if families and friends want to get me a gift, I have something to point to them and not feel guilty about how expensive it is. And yeah, like a pack of trading cards is probably in the perfect range for something like that. But something just getting into it and collecting is kind of just been more enjoyable here and there. Especially considering, like, I haven't even gone through my first Pokemon Go box. They've already gotten some pretty incredible stuff just out of that box. Also, I also finally got my first Hisuian Pokemon. Like, those were two things I kind of wanted to, that I really wanted to get most when I started collecting cards, was a shiny Pokemon, or I guess in the trading cards case they're called Radiant Pokemon. I'm not sure if that's just a thing for the particular packs I'm going after, or if that's just a general term they've adopted in general, because calling them shiny might... Some people might get confused with the holographic cards. If that's the case, then that would be a fair assumption. But yeah, I just wanted to get Pokemon from this game, because this is a game that kind of like got me interested in Pokemon again. So this game in particular does have a bit of special connection to me. And I wanted to get a shiny Pokemon because just like shiny hunting. And I have to say, just between the past couple of days of opening packs and making my way through that, I would say through that box, but that would confuse people. I've opened like 3 packs within the past 2 days. And achieved both those goals that quickly. I got 2 Hisuian Pokemon. There was a Voltorb and I forget what the other one was. From the last standalone pack I bought. Forget which one it was, but it was one of the ones that had Hisuian Pokemon on the cover. And then, literally the first Pokemon Go I opened today, I got my first shiny Pokemon from a card. And you'll never guess what it is. I don't even know if I want to say what it is, because it's that good of a thing. Needless to say, I was very surprised that I got that. That of all things, as my first shiny Pokemon card. It's almost embarrassing. And trying to go through and talk about other stuff, what else is there to bring up? Oh yeah, well, first of all, I guess I'll keep this going. We're almost at an hour, but I'll keep this going a little bit longer because I just remembered something else big that I wanted to talk about. I think, like, going for Teddiursa would only help me reach one of my last remaining goals in this game, and that's to get a Hisuian exclusive shiny. Like, I guess now's a good... I almost forgot. Now's a good time as I need to bring it up. I did reach one of my goals of getting a Hisuian form. The goal is initially either to get a shiny Pokemon of a Hisuian form, or a shiny Hisuian, like, so complicated. I wanted to get a shiny of a Pokemon that first debuted in this game, either as a regional or as a completely new Pokemon altogether. And I think it's safe to say I managed to succeed with the latter. It's kind of weird, like, I was just going for this because it was in the way in a massive mass outbreak, and kind of hard to miss a shiny that completely different. I don't even think I got one in Pokemon Go when that event went on, so works for me. Only way I can think to make it better is to get something that I couldn't get in Pokemon Go, and that would probably be like one of the regionals from that game. So, I mean, I got that. Kind of thinking I could probably get this. I could probably just go for the shiny of something completely new, like Overquill, Ursaluna, or Sneasler. Basically what we're going for now. Oh yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about before ending off the game and chill. I've gotten into other video games. I've actually played something that was not an RPG for once. Granted, it's not exactly a new AAA game or even an indie game, but back when GDQ was doing a run of a fan game called Mega Man Rock and Roll, I've been really interested in it. I actually went and downloaded it a while back, but never got around to playing it until like the past week or so. And at that point, I've been really enjoying it, despite the fact that it's a Mega Man game and I suck at them. Mega Man's just a weird series for me in general, where it's just like, it's something I Like, it's something that I think it would be right up there with some of my favorite series if I wasn't so bad at them. But because I'm bad with them, I've played very few of them. There was that first few of Mega Man X that I did a while back, and that was probably the first time I've ever completed a Mega Man game in general. Maybe I should have threw an Ultra Ball at that one. It's fine. It got caught like all the others. Oh! Was not ready to be a hype man today, but Shiny Teddy Ursa, we take those. The only downside is that I gotta go through the annoying tedium task of evolving it, and let's just say that Ursaluna was one of the last Pokemon I got in the Pokedex, pretty much right before Spiritomb, the literal last Pokemon in that dex. And again, it's like, what's even the point of completing these research tasks? Because it feels like I'm always getting the shinies of Pokemon that I don't complete all the tasks for. The ones like frickin' Shinx that everyone seems to get. I have no luck with. You know, so many people get frickin' shiny Shinx in this game without even trying. I mean, technically, that's kind of go. Like, I was kind of hoping for like Overqwil, to be perfectly honest. But that does technically meet the goal that I wanted of getting a shiny of a Galarian Pokemon that's not just a regional form. Once I figure out how to get it to be a full moon to actually evolve it. I got this right. Mega Man Rock and Roll. It's been fun. It's been hurting my hand a bit, but I've ordered these braces for my wrist, and wearing those while I'm playing games seems to have been helping a lot. Like, it's still kind of intensive on my hands to the point where I can still feel my wrists while playing those games, but it's not nearly as bad as it would be if I didn't have them. It just kind of sucks that this is kind of a thing now, where my wrists, where I've gotta worry about my wrists. Like, with the medical stuff I've had in the past, it's not the most shocking thing in the world, but it's also could be very likely just carpal tunnel from mashing buttons too much in Paper Mario or anything. Another reason why I may not be as excited to resume Sweet Training. Or another excuse, I should say. But yeah, like, it's been fun. I'm hoping I actually beat it eventually, but I am running into the problem I run into with Mega Man games where it's hard and I get stumped. So, we'll see if I have the patience to sit through the end. Or push through to the end to see the end and all that, my friends. Oh yeah, now I remember what I want to do. I want to see this new shiny that we got. There it is, just like barely even trying. Yeah, it's not quite an alpha, but it's... Man, if only the Teddiursa was a shiny. That's the other thing. I remember one of my goals, one of my few remaining goals that I wanted to have before putting this, that I wanted to have with this game. Get a shiny alpha Pokemon. Granted, I feel like without mass outbreaks, that's gonna be a little hard to go for, so this works for me. Is it any good? I'm not sure if that's a great nature for it. And I was kind of curious about IVs, but forgot that doesn't exist in this game. One less thing to worry about for the main series games, I suppose. Brave, level 27. But now that I have it, I'm not sure if I want to evolve it or just enjoy it as a Teddiursa. Because technically I have Ursaluna, shiny Ursaluna in Pokemon Go. I don't know. It is what it is. Still happy to have it, regardless of what I do with it. Okay, I think, like, now we're actually at an hour. That's a good point to end off the game and chill. I think I talked about everything I want to talk about. Even some things I didn't want to talk about. So, I've been Jackie K, and I'll see y'all later. Take care.